Hey, everybody, it's your favorite managing broker here, and I'm joined today with MRich of Braun and Rich. And today we're going to be talking about building a perfect inspection list. Is that right, Matt?
That's correct. We're going
Yeah,
to talk today about how to win the inspection.
exactly. And, right now, a lot of our buyers, right, they're paying a little bit more for places, especially with the higher interest rates,
Right.
as well as prices are still high. So we want to make sure we make them feel comfortable throughout the entire transaction. And during the inspection period is one time when sometimes some issues come up, right? And we have to navigate that with the client and with the attorneys. So Matt, I'll let you take it away.
That's right, Paul. And I think a big thing you just said is about the role is, how you're communicating with the client and the attorney. It's your job as the agent to kind of do the best you can for all the stakeholders on our side of the transaction to give them a list that works and is reasonable as we move forward. So what I wanted to talk today about is how do you win the inspection? For us, creating a winning inspection list is about two things. It's about reasonable items that you bring up and essential items based on what the inspection report entails and market conditions, just like you just said. So to us, an inspection serves three purposes. One, it's a snapshot of what the home is looking like, what the condition of the property is. Secondly, and this is really for more the inspector, is it's not a guarantee of what's going on in the home. So it's going to be an issue spotting document. Hey, maybe this is a problem. Maybe that is a problem. And then finally, and this is, I love inspectors because they do a phenomenal job, but in the end, they're protecting themselves. So they're complying with their insurance requirements by raising 80 pages worth of items. So you've got to keep that in mind when you're thinking about what the inspection report really is. But there's two sides to each inspection, how you present it to your client. So I'm going to pull up give me 1 second, a screen share. When you're doing an inspection, you want to have two things not happen. One, this is a bad inspection summary, whether it's the agent saying, hey, Matt, talk to the client, here's our list, bring all these items up. This is bad for two reasons. One, it's not succinct, it's overly broad. And two, it doesn't comply with the contract terms. Just so all the agents know, what the contract requires is that it be limited to items that do not function or are health and safety issues. So this is a bad inspection summary. And I'm not going over all the points on a couple of fronts. One, it brings up upgrades, things that aren't really broken, that are more of upgrades. So having in paragraph 12 a spill tray added to the washing machine, yes, every inspector is going to bring that up, but it's not appropriate. We shouldn't be asking for that. The home has probably worked for years without having it. Adding it to the washing machine is a upgrade. Two, it can be kind of insulting in places. I get this all the time. Look at paragraph 6. Change the furnace filter because everything's filthy. When you say that you're off-putting a seller, you could be insulting the seller. We want to make sure that the list doesn't go in that direction. Finally, replacing GFCI outlets. This is a standard thing you see in every inspection report, but when you talk to your contractor, it's a $12 fix, maybe. So remember to leave some items for the handyman work that you're going to do after the closing, and make sure the list is succinct, reasonable, and doesn't kind of add too much color where you don't need to. Whereas a good inspection report, one that might win, now I know that not every time it can be 5 items, but this is a good report or a good way to communicate to the attorney. We need a few major things dealt with. There's some issues with caulking that may relate to water intrusion. There is ventilation that has to be put in. There's some stuff going wrong that could create issues. Here we have a non-serviceable water heater. This does not function, as opposed to what we see a lot of times where we say, we want the water heater replaced because it's old. Well, if it's old and it works, it's not appropriate to bring up. One thing this list could do even better, as I put it into an attorney review letter, is break it down into electrical issues, plumbing, exterior, like if the list were that long. That would be another way to approach it. So this is a good example of how a good inspection summary can be presented to the attorney, and then in turn to the other side, the seller side. That's how we approach it. And in this market where the seller's expectations are still 6 months ago and the buyer's expectations are a few years ago when it was a buyer's market, we have a mismatch on where people's expectations are. So we still have to treat the inspection sensitive in a sensitive way, and creating a winning inspection list, a reasonable and compliant list is extremely important.
Yeah, I think this is great information. And let me ask you one question here.
Yeah,
And this was actually a question that was just brought up by an agent I was talking to a few moments
sure.
ago. Is what happens when you're now working with your regular attorney, and the seller has their own attorney that you have not worked with before? How do you make sure that you, as the agent, are on the same page with that other attorney, and how you would like something like this handled?
So let's pretend I'm that attorney who I've not worked with this agent before. And I'll tell you what I love. I love when that agent calls me up and says, hey, I'd love, I'm the one who's kind of more intimately familiar with this home. Do you mind if I kind of quarterback the inspection portion of the attorney review? So you're basically, you have an agent in your office who does this for me. He'll say, I'm going to copy and paste and just send it to you, and this is exactly how I want it. Now, of course, I'll play with some of the language, but I love that he's, I'm going to take charge on this if it's okay with you. I will tell you that 9.9 out of 10 times, an attorney would love an agent to say that to them. So I think just stepping up and saying, I know the home, I'm familiar with the inspector. Let me just kind of put together the initial thoughts, and then you guys can work it from there.
Love that. And I think that's just, some agents have to make sure they're not afraid to do that and just get out there and make that call, have that conversation.
And they shouldn't be afraid, because I'm telling you, as attorneys, I don't necessarily speak for all of us attorneys, but I can tell you, if you can help us take one piece off of our list and help us make that letter easier to get out, we love it. We love it.
Great. And it looks great to your client as well, right? Because now everyone's working together as a team, and it makes sense.
Absolutely. You're quarterbacking. You continue to look like the star. It's a fantastic way to do that. In fact, even this particular agent, I know that he talks to his clients before the inspection gets to me and says, hey, I'm going to run it. Matt knows I'm going to run it with respect to the inspection. He'll handle all the other attorney review stuff.
Perfect. Well, Matt, I think this is some great information today. For all of you watching the video, you'll see that you'll have some additional info that Matt has put together for all of you in additional Word docs. So you can go ahead and you can take a look at that. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Matt. This information will be in this email. Yep. And let's make it through the winter into the spring market and win our inspections.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye.